defining string type. So we have to know about the Boolean and null and undefined. Later you will learn, after learning so many other options, you will understand string handling and all. Okay. So we have a Boolean type, null type, and undefined type. Actually, Boolean type can handle only two values, true and false. In JavaScript, Boolean true can be verified with 1 and false with 0. That means they define with 0 and 1. For example, in interviews, generally for JavaScript people, they ask like, so true plus true is equal to how much? Means, is it possible to do that? If it is possible, how much? That means actually true plus true, that means because it represents numeric 1, true plus true will be 2, 1 plus 1. That will be the result actually. It's not true or false. It will return a number. It is going to return a number. So that is important to understand. It can verify the conditions. Remember, 0, 1 to verify the conditions. So that means don't think that x is equal to 1. Means what data type it is. X equal to 1 means what data type it is. What is the data type if x equal to 1? What is the data type? Data type is number. Don't think that it is true. Understood? It is a number type. It is not true. Okay. So true 1 is used only in conditions. In conditions, in the for true we can use that. So that means actually, suppose we are writing here. So let's go through this here. So we are defining here x. So where x equal to true. And if x equal to 1, like this we can use. Then we can put document dot write document dot write. So we can say x is true. So else, so we will define document dot write x is false, like this. Now you can see here, so generally it is going to display in this. So it shows x is true. It will display x is true. So because 1 verifies with the true actually, you see true. Suppose x is false, then it will return as false. Okay. 1 is used for that. Actually, you can use directly. True. So, but people have an habit of using this 1 for Boolean true and false. It's not recommended for Boolean conditions, but you will see regularly people using this in a shortcut way, people writing 1 instead of true. So, but it is always recommended to use true or false words. That is the reason in the advanced scripting like TypeScript, they have restricted in such a way that this cannot happen actually. Right? So, but initially we need to know that these are the options for So validating, these are the options for configuring the validation. So that is Boolean type. Don't worry about examples. Examples we will see later. So that means generally, can you tell me where Booleans are used? Where Boolean type is used? How you will tell that where Boolean type is used? Actually, Boolean type is used. You should say that Boolean types are used in decision making. Decision making. Understood? Boolean type is used in decision making. So in decision making, so condition true, condition false, based on that, it will perform the interactions. So you should say that Booleans are used in decision making. We have to use the Booleans in decision making. So that is the true or false. That is what generally decision making is. So this will be important to understand. So later you will see in programs how we will keep. Because for that we need to learn how to write decision making statements, right? That is number, string, and Boolean. And null and undefined. Null and undefined is nothing but, suppose we declared X and document.write, we are printing X value. That means X is equal to, so dollar, the value of X. But X is not having any value. So if X is not having any value and you are trying to print it, by default, the compiler will put it as undefined. By default, that means it's not an error. By default, compiler will put as undefined. So you can see that at the compile time, compiler will say that value not defined, undefined. You see, it will be undefined. So it is undefined. So that means it is not defined. So generally, so when you are configuring and defining the value into that, so then it will display, okay, that value will be displayed. If value is not there, then it says it is undefined. That means generally in some situations, for example, so we have defined here, so var name. So name is equal to some Samsung TV. And var price. Price is not defined because price will be decided. Price will be decided by another situation depending on later stage. So that means price is not defined. It's because we will use the price later. That means in this situation, price is not required. For another situation, it is required. In that case, generally what we do is, so that means for one location price is not there, another location price is there. So we will write like this. So we will write a condition. If price is equal to undefined, so that means you have to verify with undefined. If price is undefined, undefined is a keyword. If price is undefined, that means it is not defined. So then don't print the price. So we just print document.write. Document.write. We will print only name. So name is equal to whatever name entered. If price is defined, then document.write. So we have to print name is equal to the name and the price, next line price is equal to the price. We have to print both name and price. That's how we need to define. That means if price is not defined, and you can see that only name is printed. If price is defined, then it will print that price also. Similarly, we have to write for name also. So if name is not defined, if price is not defined, then it will be not there. We can verify whether it is defined or not. During the compile time, we can check whether it is there or not. Because generally, so we write like, suppose user selected a city. For that city, price is not known. For other cities, it is known. In that case, if it is not known, we will just keep undefined. Then for that, it will not print, or we can print some other message saying that price is unknown. Initially, undefined is that. People have an habit of writing in another way also. That is very regularly seen. Generally, people, you will see in various examples, people not writing like this. Generally, people write like this, actually. So they write like this. If price, they write like this. So then document.write is, what do you think this means? What do you think this means? If price means what? What do you say? What do you think? If I write like this, what is checking? That means if price is defined, understood? This is to verify defined. So you see, currently it is undefined. So this indicates we are verifying whether it is defined or not. If defined, then what I am doing is I am printing name. I am printing the name. So see, I am printing the name. So, and in the next line, I am printing the price. So we are printing the name and price. Otherwise, so we are printing document.write. We are printing only name. We are printing only name. So only the name is printed here. Now, actually, this is to indicate that it is defined. So now I entered some price here. So entered some price here. And it is going to print the name and price. That's how it is going to manage. So we are going to remove that price. Then it will be normal. It's just like reversing actually. That means if it is defined, then print. If not, don't print. It's just reversing the previous logic. Actually, previous logic was like this. If it is undefined, that means price is not defined, then use it. So, but it is always not good to check negative. So that means undefined errors. It's not good to check every time like that. That's the reason people have an habit of writing like that. If I don't use undefined, so that means you are verifying defined. You are verifying defined. That is the point here. So you can write either way, conditions, either way you can define. So remember, this is at the compile time. Remember, at the compile time, if price is not defined, at the compile time, if price is not defined, JavaScript will keep automatically undefined. But not at runtime dynamically. Not at runtime dynamically. Dynamically means if I am entering the price through prompt, That means I said enter price. Now this is not at the compile time, at the run time. If at the run time I haven't mentioned price, because through prompt I am entering. If price is not entered, then what it will return? Already you saw that. At runtime, if price is not defined, what it returns? What it returns? Remember, at runtime, so if it is not defined, so it will return null. Very good. It will return null. That means now you understood the difference between null and undefined. So both are indicating that there is no value. Both are indicating that there is no value. But when undefined is used, when undefined is used, what do you say? Tell me when undefined is used. When undefined is used at the compile time. Yes, good. And when null is used at the runtime. Right, very good. That is the basic thing. So you have to decide whether you are expecting the value dynamically or not. If you are expecting the value dynamically, then it will not have undefined at all. It will always return null only. Already you saw that. So undefined. Now, sometimes you will be asked with question like, so in many interviews, you will be asked with question like, what is difference between undefined and not defined? Undefined and not defined. So actually, undefined means variable is defined. So variable is defined, but value not defined. Undefined means variable is defined, but value is not defined. Variable is there, but value is not there. Actually, not defined is reference error. So which means variable not defined. That means there is no variable at all. Currently, there is no value. You are verifying there is no value. If there is no variable at all, that means suppose I am printing like this. Document.write. So price is equal to plus price. There is no price at all. Then what it will do? So it will return a reference error saying that the price variable not defined. So you can see here. So when I go to inspect and in the console, you can see not defined. Price is not defined. So if price is returned as undefined means variable is present, value is not present. Not defined means variable not present. So we don't have a variable not present. So that is not defined means that is variable not present. So that is a regular question generally asked for freshers in interviews. What is undefined? What is not defined? Undefined is that variable is there, but there is no value inside it. Not defined means so the variable not at all there, but you are trying to referring it. It's a reference error actually. So these are important to understand in primitive types. So we have, these are all primitive types. We have a number, we have a string, we have a boolean, we have null. So we have undefined. So this all comes under the category of primitive data types. These are the primitive data types. Once you understood about the primitive data types, what are the primitive data types available? Now, in these primitive data types, so you need to understand about one more important point, that is how we can handle the strings, booleans. Some examples we will see now. That means once you know how we can deal with the string, here are some points you need to understand. So one is number. While working with number, handling numbers, you need to know handling numbers. So which are very important to understand in interviews. I will give you handling numbers, handling strings, some points I will give here. Some important questions we need to understand. So I will keep this as so handling numbers. So or you can say number type. So handling numbers or number type. The first important question here is how to verify the number type. How to verify the number type? That is the first regular question. Already I told you the answer. Yesterday I given you the answer. So by using two options, one is, so we can use by using, one is NaN. Another one is by using so type of. These two are used for verifying the number type, configuring the number type and verifying the number type. So how to verify the number? So for example, suppose so we are creating a simple page, doc type, HTML, head, title. So I defined some number or say body. So in that, so we have field set and with a legend. And here I said, so username, now say age. And here I'm defining some input type is equal to text. And here ID is txt age. And we have a span. Span have an ID like MSG. Okay. This is what we are configuring, right? Now, important here in this is when user enters any number, I need to verify is it a number or not. Age must be number. So if anything else entered, I should show some validation error. So how do we verify that? How you are going to verify that and handle it? So there are so many situations. On submit, you can verify. Now I am writing a simple option. I am writing here an event in the text box on blur. Remember, I will discuss about all the events later. We will discuss about all the events in a separate session. But during practice, some events we have to use in various occasions. Blur indicates that when the control lost focus, that means when it is finished using it. On blur means when it is finished using it. So that means when it is finished using it on blur. So that means you finish it typing. That means you see, I click inside, means focus. I click outside, that means it is blur. That means it's lost the focus. On blur, I will write here, verify age. Verify age. We are writing verify age is a function. So let's write a script. In the script, we are writing the function verify age. And first we need to collect the value. So var txt age, or say age is equal to, get the value coming from this text box. That means document get element by id, txt age dot value. This is accessing the value from that here. We need to verify, is it a number or a string? Then we are writing here a function. If we have a function is nan, so what is the value? That means is nan, we have to pass a numerical value. That means suppose age. So if it is age, then I don't want to display this message. That means the span, in the span, I can display some message, or I can just show message. Suppose here I am having, so span ID message, there itself I am writing some message like age must be a number. Age must be a number. So here we have to access that span also. So where MSG is document get element by ID, MSG, it refers to span. Now, if age is not a number, then display the span. That means we have to use, so MSG dot, we have to apply style. Style have a property called display. Display is equal to none. We know that in CSS, there is a style attribute called display. It will be none. Otherwise, so it should, it actually is not a number, it should be displayed. So I will put as display inline. Inline means it will be displayed. Otherwise, we will hide it. MSG dot style dot display is none. We are hiding it. So that means actually here some more points are there. I will tell you. That means the condition is if age is not a number, then display this message. If age is a number, then no need to worry. By default, you can observe if I am not typing, by default that message is coming. So then by default I will keep style display as none. That means by default that message will not be displayed. I entered some age here. I am entering some age. So 22. Now that is okay. I entered some string here. Then it says age must be number. Remember, after entering that, I came out of it. That means blur. Blur means I finished it. If it is a number, it will not show any errors. So if it is a string or something there inside it, then automatically it will display age must be number. That means you have to define a number, then it will be fine. That is how we are verifying. Actually, input type number is there in HTML, which will verify whether it is a number or is not. It will not allow numbers. But I told you that they are browser dependent. Browser dependent means you cannot handle them across all the browsers in the same way. Some browsers will support, some browsers will not support. Already we discussed about that. So that is the reason we have to configure and we have to define. So with logic, we need to check whether it is a number or not. So we need to verify that. So that is basically the type, how you define as a number or not. That is one way of verifying the number. But this is only for number. IsNaN is to verify only the numbers, numerical values. So example is this. So this is an example I will paste, right? That is an example. Suppose I want to handle the range of numbers and verify. That also you have to do that. That also you have to do that by writing logic only. You have to do by using logic. Initially, so conditions, nested conditions, later I will tell you. That means logic means you have to verify is greater than, is less than, is between that value or not. You have to handle it. Initially, this is okay, or you can try another technique. Another is, so instead of this, IsNaN, you can use another option, that is type of. So if type of age, that means the data type of age is equal to, or say is not equal to number. If type of age is not equal to number, if it is not number, display, otherwise hide. Type of age is not equal to number. This is another technique. So, but see here, I entered some value, then it says same. I entered, then it is, so display must be there. But it is not handling that. I entered a number, so, but it is not hiding it. So if it is not a number, it is displaying it. If it is a number, then it has to, if it has to display. So it should hide that message, but it is unable to hide that message. So we will see debugging here. So that means how to verify what problem is there. See here, I entered number. It is showing that message. But I entered, actually, it should not show that. We said not equal to number. If type of age is not equal to number, so display. So generally, when you are verifying, yesterday I showed you that it's working with general option. So here, if I written like this, if age is equal to, if age, type of age is equal to number. If it is equal to number, what we want is display. We have to set it to none. Otherwise, we have to set it to, so some inline like this. That means we are verifying type of is equal or not. So here I'm entering some number and it is still displaying that. Why? Because one of the main point here is it verifies this. I will show you debugging, how to identify the problem. So you go to, once you do this, you go to inspect. In the inspector, you have to go to, so here the source category will be there. You see there is a source category, source. In the source category, so we have the file. This is the file. Open that file. So this is the logic. Now in this logic, what we have to do now is, in this logic, you have to, generally in this logic, you have to click on the line number. You see here, this is the option. You have to click on the line number. So line number is nothing but 7, 8, 9. Click on 9 because here it is verifying. So it will put a breakpoint. It will put a breakpoint. You can see it keeps a breakpoint. Breakpoint means it stops execution there. You can put multiple breakpoints actually. Again click, it will remove. One breakpoint is enough at 9. After you keep the breakpoint, once refresh the page. So that means it starts processing. I entered some value. And I clicked outside. Then you see it is paused in debugger. Right side, it is paused. Now you can see that. So once it is paused, it comes here. You see type of age. Type of age. Age is 12. It is returning 12. It is returning 12. So that means age is actually accessing from a text box. And usually it is accessing a number. It is accessing a number. That means always the data type is number. Okay, it is a number. So that means you entered the number. So it is 12. So type of 12 is equal to number. It is verifying that. Okay. Now once you saw that here, you can see right side. Sometimes this window will come at the bottom. Age is 12. And span is nothing but the message. It is the ID. Now what you do is click this step over button and curved arrow is present. Click on that step over button. When you click on that step over button, it will go to the next step. And the next step is nothing but it is going to this condition display. And it is showing it. It is showing that message. That means it is displaying it. So that is okay. Now it is executing this. Display by default style is none actually, but click on stop over. It will apply that. After you finished this function, you click on this button, resume script execution. Then it will show so that it is returning this age is number. Age must be number. It is showing that. So that means here it is displaying that message. If it is number, it is displaying that age must be number. But actually we have to hide that. Observe carefully. One more time we will refresh. I will enter some string here. When I enter string, again it is paused. And you click on this one. So step over. Then you see again it is executing this. It is executing this and displaying. That means if it is a number, it is satisfying as number. If it is satisfying as number, it is executing this condition. If not satisfying as number, then also executing this statement. That means this statement is not touched. Because always it is using only one direction. So it is using only one direction. That means remember, it is checking only whether it is a number and returning true. If it is not a number, it is not returning that it is not a number. So that means due to that, what happens is every time it executes. And another problem is whatever you entered inside this, it is not treated as a number. Because whatever you entered inside it, even you entered a number inside it. So you have observed in the debugger. Have you observed clearly in the debugger? So in the source, what you observed in the debugger when I entered this, refresh, I entered 12. And when I entered 12, observe here, age is not recognized as a number. Have you seen that? So local, you have seen this local, age is equal to double quotes 12. That means it is not treated as a number. Understood the problem? That means it is not treated as number. It is treated as a string. So that means, so that is the reason even you type a number, it is saying that please enter a number. So this problem will come. Why? Because type of will verify directly the value. But is NaN not like that? Is NaN is nothing but difference is NaN. It converts into number and verifies. Understood? So it just verifies the input value. So without implicit conversions. Implicit conversions. Conversions. That means without converting internally. So isNaN is converting and verifying. Is converting and verifying. That is the reason even with a text box you have entered, so it is converting into number and verifying. But type of is not like that. It will verify just the type that comes from text box. In that case, for that what we have to do is, we have to convert that into number and verify.